Well, Haribo. Oh, that's someone else. I don't know where the organizer is. Oh, I see. Dal Chaitanya's having technical difficulties. Okay, well, we'll give him 1 more minute. Okay? 1 minute or 1 more minute. If he doesn't come, I'll just start. Ram, Ram, Hari, 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 Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Ram, Hari, Ram, Ram, Hari, Hari. Murli Manohar from Colombia. No, yes. From where? Lotus Park. Mexico. Wow. Okay. Welcome. Okay, we're just waiting for our leader. Who has not arrived yet. Dial Chaitanya with a D. But he's not there. He's not there. They said he has technical difficulties. So, okay, devotees, Hare Krishna, we will begin. We'll just begin. Oh, who's that? Oh, okay. Okay, so what to do? Yeah, okay, let's go. Okay, Kirtan, Kirtan Karo. Ki Jai. Jai. Haribol. Jai Prabhu. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Deja Tarine Chaitanya Nanda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sadiko Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Radhanatha, Radhanatha, Radhe.
Nityai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nityai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jayo Vishnu Patra Hansa Prabhajacharya Aswara Sada Shishimat A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayo Vishnu Patra Hansa Prabhajacharya Aswara Sada Shishimat Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. नामचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, ISKCON ब्रह्मन गुरु वृंद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय, प्रेम से कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद शेरवीट गदाधर श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंदर राधा कुंदर गिरी गोवर्धन की जय, श्री नवद्वीप मायपुर नाम की जय, श्री मथुरा वृंदावन नाम की जय, गंगमयी की जय, यमुनामाई की जय, भक्त देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, Sama Beta Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Nityai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the simple devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the simple devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the simple devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Kisi Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Damodar. Hare Krishna devotees, guests, well-wishers, and friends, welcome to Srila Prabhupada Premana Mahata via this medium of Zoom. So tonight we are very happy to announce, to welcome, and to introduce our very, very special guest for this evening, His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj. So before we hand over to Maharaj, I just want to share a short biography with you. Of course, Maharaj really needs no introduction, as many of you have had the good fortune of having his association. Nevertheless, for those of you who have recently joined, I will read this. Maharaj, I do apologize for having to edit this due to time restraints. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj received initiation in the year 1973 from the founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Srila Prabhupada. And amongst his many, many service and responsibilities, he served as temple commander, treasurer, and book distributor, etc. He joined the governing body commission in 1998, and his assignments has included overseeing the spiritual well-being in many countries, and furthermore, also acts as co-GBC for many others, including South Africa. In addition to his extensive responsibilities, Maharaj regularly expresses his natural flair for narrating the pastimes of the Lord, and these expressions have also taken the form of video production and books. His latest offerings have taken the shape of books entitled Vrindavan, the playground of God, and Govardhan, the hill that fulfills all desires. Maharaj continues to offer his missionary activities in the mood of service and loving homage unto the revered spiritual master and his founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who instilled the gift of Krishna consciousness within his heart. And even now, despite the restrictions of COVID pandemic, Maharaj still continues to inspire, to encourage, to motivate, and to offer his wonderful association daily via online classes and through Facebook. So Maharaj, from the entire congregation of Srila Prabhupada Premana Mahata, guests, well-wishers and friends, devotees, we'd like to warmly welcome you and thank you for taking your time to give us your wonderful association. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, O Premanande.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Dal Chaitanya Prabhu. Thank you very much. And to Radhika Priya and Kartik and company. And thank you to you all for taking part in our program tonight. I'm really happy to be here with you all. I haven't been with you face to face for more than a year. It's terrible. But what can we do? And one thing I'd just like to make you aware of is that we have here this evening one devotee from Mexico who's joined us here. And this is Murli Manohar Devi Dasi. Just, yeah, okay, there she is. I don't know if you can see her. There she is. She's joined us from Mexico. Very good. All right, so, you know, devotees, tonight, there she is. Hare Krishna. Tonight, I thought, you know, because we're all faced with the COVID situation, we all know all about it. Oh my gosh. It's just too amazing. And in fact, it's such a different type of experience. And in many ways, it's such a challenging type of experience that some people, many ordinary people, and even some devotees sometimes, they become a little, you know, bewildered. They may lose faith in Krishna a little because the situation is just so unusual and just going on and on. So I thought we could, this evening, talk a little bit about how Krishna is there for his devotees. Krishna protects his devotees in any situation, ultimately. And when we have that confidence and faith in Krishna, then it makes it much easier to deal with the challenges. So I'm going to read, first of all, I'm going to read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 80. The Brahman Sudama visits Lord Krishna in Dwarika. And I will read, I think it's verse 9. Let's see, yes, it's verse 9. But before I begin, let me just offer some prayers. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastya Chadeshatarne Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Okay, so here we go, devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 80. It's the story of Sudama the Brahmin, and it's verse 9. Nanu Brahman Bhagavata Saksach Triyapati Brahmanyascha Sharanyascha Bhagavan Sattvatarshaba. So it's the story of Sudama, as I said. This is his wife speaking. O Brahmin, isn't it true that the husband of the goddess of fortune is the personal friend of your exalted self? That greatest of Yadavas, the Supreme Lord Krishna, is compassionate to Brahmins and very willing to grant them his shelter. In other words, Krishna protects the devotees. Krishna gives shelter to the devotees. Let me read the purport here, not actually by Prabhupada, but by our BBT commentators. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in his commentary how the Brahmin's wife anticipated every possible objection her husband might make to her request that he go to Lord Krishna to beg charity. Because let me just tell you, just a little of the background is that this Brahmin, Sudama, he had been a school friend of Lord Krishna for some years, maybe 10 years or maybe even more, something like at least 10. They were together. And so they were close. But then when they finished school, Sudama the Brahmin, he went back home and was just living a very simple, meager existence. And Lord Krishna went to Dwaraka and became a prince, very wealthy and powerful like that. And then they didn't see each other for some time, for some years. And the Brahmin Sudama was living very, very poor existence. And they had 2 children. And his wife said to him, you know, I don't mind not eating anything some days, but our children, they don't understand. So you got to do something. And she said, you know, your school friend Krishna, he's Prince in Dwaraka. Why don't you go ask him? Can he give you a donation? So this is what's happening here. She's asking Sudama, and she is anticipating that he will object. No, I shouldn't go see Krishna. And here are the objections with the answers. The answers which are given to those objections. The objection basically is, I don't want to bother Krishna. But she's saying, no, you must go see Krishna. So if Sudama said, "How could the husband of the goddess of fortune befriend a fallen soul like myself?" then his wife replies by saying that Lord Krishna is Brahmanya. He's very favorable towards the Brahmins. If Sudama says, "Well, that's okay, but I have no devotion to the Lord," so his wife replies by saying that actually you're a very wise person, and certainly the Lord will be kind to you because he's kind to the wise devotees. Then if Sudama objects that Krishna's equal to everyone, so why would he give me special treatment? Then his wife says that, okay, but he is especially kind to his devotees. So, and she says, even if somehow Krishna doesn't help you, the other devotees will help you. Because the devotees take care of the other devotees, like in a family. So anyway, it's a famous story, actually, the story of Sudama the Brahmin. His wife is saying to him here, "You must go ask Lord Krishna for some financial help." So she convinces him, "All right, I'll go." And he goes. And he arrives in Dwaraka, and he goes to the palace of Krishna. And at the door, the people, the doorman, the guards, they ask, "Who are you?" And he says, "Well, I'm Lord Krishna's old friend from school, Sudama. I want to see him." So they go and ask Krishna, do you know this person? You want to see him? And Krishna says, "Yes, bring him in, my old friend." So Sudama comes in, he meets Krishna, they embrace each other, and it's like a really wonderful reunion. And they stay up the whole night. They stay up the whole night, just catching up and talking about what they're doing and what they used to do and, all these things. And they stayed up the whole night. And in the morning, Sudama left, and he's walking back to his home, which wasn't actually that far away. I mean, maybe a day or two walk away. So he's walking and he's walking, and then he remembers, wait a minute. I was meant to ask Krishna for some money for my family, but I just got so absorbed in associating with Krishna and talking and, all of this. It was just so nice. And I forgot to ask him for money. And momentarily Sudama thought, oh no, my wife will be angry with me because I just didn't carry out my mission. I'm coming back empty-handed. But then Sudama thought, well, actually I'm glad I didn't ask for money. I'm glad Krishna didn't give me money, because if Krishna gave me money, I'd probably become carried away and think I'm a rich man and live an extravagant lifestyle and forget him. So it's better I didn't ask for money. It's better I didn't get money. So he carried on, Then eventually he arrived at the place where his house was. Not house, actually. They just had a straw hut. Just one room. Straw. I mean, it's just simple, super simple. So he arrived there, but he saw that his little hut was no longer there. But there was a big palace there. And he thought, gosh, I took the wrong turning. I've come to the wrong place. What happened? I became confused. But then suddenly his wife came running out of the palace with some maid servants and greeted him. And she was really happy. Look at this. What Krishna did. And Sudama thought that, just see the mercy of Krishna. Actually, I didn't even ask him. I was going to ask him for some money to feed the children. But I forgot. I didn't ask for anything at all. But Krishna understood. And Krishna provided this. This is far beyond what I was intending to ask for. Just see the mercy of Krishna. So, when you go home tonight, don't be too disappointed if your house in Lotus Park has not transformed into a big palace. Okay. Don't be in anxiety. We are not on the level of Sudama. But still, the point is, Krishna takes care of his devotees. If we really try to be devotees, and really try to serve Krishna, and if we really chant very nicely, very attentively, carefully, so if we do things like this, and if we live like this, Krishna will protect us. Krishna will look after us. And well, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, my devotee never perishes. So sometimes Krishna may test us, put us in a challenging situation, and we think, gosh, what am I going to do? But like I said, if we pray, if we chant, if we serve, if we associate with the devotees, then Krishna will look after us. I want to tell you a little story from my own experience. Krishna looking after me. This is an interesting story. Listen to this. I had to fly one day from a city in Europe through another city into a country called Lithuania. So, and when I arrived in Lithuania, I had an appointment for getting a special visa so I could live in Lithuania for 2 years. Okay, so I had to fly from the first place, land in the second place, get onto another plane, and fly to Lithuania and arrive in time for the appointment. Because, You don't want to play around with those visa people. So, okay, I was at the airport and I was waiting where the first plane was meant to go from. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And I saw the time is passing. The flight is meant to leave in 15 minutes. And if it doesn't leave, I will miss the plane from the second place. And I'll miss my appointment. And, it could really be a problem for getting my visa. So I was praying to Krishna, come on, Krishna, let's get the plane together, let's go. But the plane did not go. Eventually the plane left about half an hour late, or even more, maybe 1 hour. And I knew that I wouldn't catch the second plane. I would be late and I would miss my appointment. Anyway, got on the plane, away we go. And we're flying along, and they make an announcement that in the second airport, there is a bomb scare. We cannot land. We have to go somewhere else and land and wait. And they announced we may have to go to Moscow, which is way out of the way. And I thought, oh, Krishna, please. This is terrible. So we continued flying. Then they made an announcement that, yes, there is a bomb in the second airport. We cannot land there. So we are going to another airport, but they didn't say which airport. So we flew along, and I'm thinking, Krishna, please help me. Then, you know where we landed? We landed in Lithuania. Yeah, we landed in Lithuania right on time. And I got to my appointment, and I got my visa. And I thought, wow, Krishna, you are real. And you really help your devotees. Because it seemed hopeless, and I was going to be in trouble. So Krishna helps his devotees. Krishna protects his devotees. This is a very important part of Krishna consciousness. However, having said that, sometimes Krishna tests his devotees to see, are you really serious or what? Or are you just here for a good time? Are you just here for the prasadam? or do you really want to serve me, and are you willing to take some trouble for me? Krishna sometimes tests his devotees. And when there's some difficulty, like for the last year and 3 months or whatever it is, it's been difficult. It's been difficult for me too. I promise you, it's been difficult. But we have to carry on and try to continue serving, continue chanting, continue associating with the devotees, and take the whole experience in a positive type of mood. Yes. And if we do like that, then we'll see. We will see how Krishna helps. Now again, let me give my own situation as an example. I think many of you know that up until the beginning of last year, like I think February, I arrived back from Russia. And since then, I've been in Durban the whole time, except for 2 weeks. I was in 2 months. I was in Johannesburg. And I just didn't travel and didn't preach. Normally, I would go up to Europe, go into Russia, go all over Russia a few times, go to India. I would go like 3 or 4 times. But I've been here. So I thought, okay, I should preach Krishna consciousness. How am I going to do it? Sitting here in Radharanath Temple in Durban. So, devotees, you know what happened? We got the idea. Let us do programs online, on Zoom, on Facebook, on Instagram. So we started, and we noticed that the devotees, they really liked it. And they were there every day. We started doing japa programs, morning and evening, and devotees would be there. You know, sometimes 150 devotees, sometimes 200. And when I was traveling around, you know, from temple to temple, you might get every day anything from 20 to 50 devotees, maybe. But we were getting more than 100, 150, 200 every day, morning and evening. And I thought, wow, we're actually doing a lot of preaching. We're actually doing more than before the COVID. Then you know what we did? Then we decided to do Bhakti Shastri for the devotees, a Krishna conscious educational program. Maybe some of you took part. And we had devotees from all over. North America, South America, England, different parts of Europe, all over Russia, India, Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, and of course here in South Africa, Mauritius. And in the end, we had more than 300 devotees who followed the whole course for more than 6 months, every day. Something like 320 received Bhakti Shastri, which is a serious Krishna conscious educational program. So you see, if you pray to Krishna, and if you really try to use your intelligence, and if you keep actively engaged in Krishna conscious activity, Krishna helps. You know, all these 300, more than 300 who got Bhakti Shastri, if it had not been for COVID, the great majority, they would never have done Bhakti Shastri. The great majority, they would never have done it. But because of the special situation, they did it. And there's even a few left over who missed the first part of the course. They're finishing it now. And the total who are going to receive Bhakti Shastri altogether, the total is going to be around 400. So I'm just giving this as an example that even when there's some unusual situation, which may seem to be a bad situation, but if we really take shelter of the Lord, if we really pray to the Lord, and if we really try to practice seriously and not just get, disturbed and anxious and, oh, what's going on? But if we really apply ourselves nicely, Krishna helps in very extraordinary ways. Krishna helps. So therefore, please don't lose faith. Don't blame Krishna. Don't become depressed. Take it as a special opportunity for coming closer to Krishna. Because that's what it is. It's a special opportunity. And Krishna is watching. Krishna's always watching. And if Krishna sees that we're really trying our best, then he always helps. He always helps. Sometimes he may take his time because he's watching and he's testing to see what are you going to do. So I want to now I'll finish in a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes or 15 or something. I want to tell you another story about a devotee who got a real challenge, but he really stuck at it, and in the end he got great mercy. This is the story of Mukunda Dutt, who is an associate of Lord Chaitanya. Mukunda Dutt. And today is his, is it appearance or disappearance? Anyway, I think today, it's his appearance day. Today. Might be his disappearance day. But it's one of the two. It's a disappearance. So today is his disappearance day of Mukunda Dutt. And this is a very special story. Please listen very carefully. And Mukunda Dutt, he was a great singer. He would lead kirtan for Lord Chaitanya regularly. There is a blessing. There's a blessing here that if we listen nicely, we'll get some mercy. There's 2 blessings. Listen to this. Anyone who hears the story of Mukunda will sing with him. Anyone who feels happiness by hearing this narration will certainly meet Lord Chaitanya face to face. So please listen carefully. So, at one point, Lord Chaitanya performed what is called the Mahaprakash Leela. In that Leela, in that pastime, he called, all the devotees were there in Navadvip. All the devotees were there. And Lord Chaitanya called them one by one and told them who they had been in their previous births when they appeared with Lord Krishna. They had all been with Lord Krishna 5,000 years before, and now they had taken birth to be with Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. So he was telling them one by one, you were this person, you were that person. Like, for example, with Murari Gupta, he told him, Murari, look at me. And Murari Gupta looked at Lord Chaitanya, and you know what he saw? He saw Sita and Ram. Because Lord Chaitanya is the combined form of Radha and Krishna, means he's the combined form of Sita and Ram. He saw Lord Nityananda as Lakshman. And so Lord Chaitanya asked Murari, what do you see? And Murari said, well, you are Sita and Ram and Nityananda's Lakshman. But there's one problem. Murari Gupta said, there's one problem. Where's Hanuman? And Lord Chaitanya said, Murari, look at yourself. And Murari looked at himself, and he saw that he's Hanuman, because he is Hanuman. So it was going on. And then finally Lord Chaitanya said, after more than 20 hours of this, Lord Chaitanya said, okay, that's enough. So this was happening in the house of Shrivas, another associate of Lord Chaitanya. And Shrivas then went to Lord Chaitanya and said, you know, my Lord, I think you've forgotten Mukunda, this Mukunda Dutt, who was the singer. I think you've forgotten him. Can you call him, please? Mukunda was outside in the courtyard in anxiety. Why was I not called? And Lord Chaitanya said, this Mukunda, I never want to see him again. I won't see him again. Tell him that. He's finished. And so Shrivas went and told Mukunda, somehow Lord Chaitanya is really angry with you and says he won't see you again. And Mukunda asked Shrivas, please ask him again. And so Shrivas asked Lord Chaitanya again, and Lord Chaitanya explained that this Shrivas, whenever he is with certain people, he acts like them. So when he's with the devotees, he acts like a devotee. When he is with the Shivites, the worshippers of Lord Shiva, he acts like a worshipper of Lord Shiva. When he's with the worshippers of Durga, he acts like he's a worshipper of Durga. So he's a cheater. He's a rascal. And I don't want to see him again. So Shrivas went and told Mukunda. And Mukunda explained that, you know, these people, they are my family members. I live in this big family. And there's some Shivites, there's some worshippers of Durga, and there's all these different people there are Mayavadis, there are just all sorts of people. And I can't get into big arguments with them all the time. Therefore, when I'm with them, just on the surface, I just agree. When they say Om Namo Shivaya, some of them, I say, yes, 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 Om Namo Shivaya. And when I'm with those ones who worship Durga, and they say, Durga Stu Bhagavan Swayam, I say, yes, 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 Durga, very nice, very nice. And when the impersonalists say that it's all one, then I say, oh, very nice, very nice. It's just that I'm living with them, and I can't just fight with them all the time. So it's just like a game that I play. It's not that I'm really into it. So Srivas went back to Lord Chaitanya, and it's a bit of a long story actually, but basically he went back to Lord Chaitanya, Srivas, and explained that this is the situation. This is why he sort of agrees with the different people, but actually he's a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya said, all right, all right, all right. Tell him that I will see him in 10 million lifetimes. He can wait for 10 million lifetimes, and I'll see him. So Srivas went out and told Mukunda, the Lord will see you in 10 million lifetimes. And Mukunda became ecstatic. He started dancing. The Lord will see me in only 10 million lifetimes. Oh, how wonderful! How wonderful! And he started dancing and dancing and running around and calling out, I will see my Lord! I will see my Lord! And Srivas went back inside, and Lord Chaitanya said, who's making all that noise? Who's that? And Srivas said, it's Mukunda. He's so happy he's going to see you in 10 million lifetimes. He's just so happy. And Lord Chaitanya said, oh, just bring him right now. So Srivas went back out to get Mukunda. But Mukunda was in such ecstasy. He was jumping and rolling and flying, and they couldn't catch him. Eventually they caught him, and they brought him back in to see Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya told him, you know, I was just playing a game with you. I just wanted to see your devotion. So you are such a devotee. You're such a devotee. Lord Chaitanya said that I will place pure devotion and love in the songs that come from your mouth. When people hear your songs, all the Vaishnavas will melt. You are very dear to me. In the same way, you'll be dear to all the great devotees. And whenever I descend to this world, you will come with me and you will be my singer. So, and then the author speaks these benedictions. Anyone who hears the story of Mukunda will sing with him. Anyone who feels happiness by hearing this narration will certainly meet Lord Chaitanya face to face. So if the going gets tough, devotees, don't get upset. Stick at it. It's just Krishna testing you. And if you stick at it, the mercy will come. The mercy will definitely come. So there you go, devotees. A few thoughts. You can meditate on these things. And maybe after a little while, I'll come back and visit you all again, and just check how you're doing. How's that? Okay. So I'll hand back to Dal Chaitanya Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj Ki. Thank you very much, Maharaj. It was really, really good having you at Srila Prabhupada Pramana Mahacha. I think there may be a few devotees that may have a few questions. I'm not sure if it's okay. If we can take.
If anyone does, sure.
All right, devotees, does anybody have a question?
Are they in the chat?
Please, if you could unmute yourself.
Okay. Okay, any comment or question, devotees?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Mambala Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, or glory to the Lotus Feet Maharaj. Being that today is Sanya Ratra, I've noticed over just a few years now that they've been dressing the deities somewhat like an elephant. What is the significance of that? And does it have any link to Lord Ganesh? Something of that sort? What are your thoughts on that, Maharaj?
Which deities?
Lord Jagannath, Baladev.
In Jagannath Puri.
Well, even in South Africa, I've noticed they've been dressing them like that.
Really? They do in Jagannath Puri, they have Ganesh Vesh for Lord Jagannath. Here, I wasn't aware they do it here. Sometimes they dress the Lord as a devotee, as Ganesh in Puri. So it's called Ganesh Vesh. Here, you'd have to ask Prabhanu, or because they didn't tell me they were going to do that.
Okay. I did see it, yeah. At New Jagannath Puri, of course.
Okay. I'll ask Prabhanu what the idea is.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Anyone else? Any questions? Devotees?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the lovely class, Maharaj. It was so good seeing you at Pramana Mahacha. Maharaj, I just wanted to know that, we take vows to chant rounds, and sometimes we become ill and we're unable to do that. Really ill. So what do we do in that case, Maharaj?
If you really become so ill that you actually can't do it, I mean, anyway, if you do, I've never been that ill, I get ill sometimes. I've never been so ill I couldn't chant my rounds in almost 50 years. But if you do, if you really do, then what you should do is write down each day how many rounds you chanted, how many rounds you didn't chant, and when you get better after a little while, you should try to catch them up. That's the best thing, particularly if you're an initiated devotee. It's really good to try to catch them up. You know, sometimes devotees, you know, not through being sick, but just through being extremely busy, like just totally too busy. Sometimes devotees, just in one day, they're not able to finish all their rounds. So then what Prabhupada had them do was, next day, they should catch up. So anyway, that's the basic point. As much as possible, if someone, for whatever reason, is not able to finish their rounds for a day or for even a week or something, they should make a list of how many rounds they should catch up, and they should try to catch up. I can tell you, though, a special situation. One of my own disciples in, in Belarus, if you've heard of Belarus, Minsk, she had her first child, and it was such a challenge for months. And she got 1,000 rounds behind. Every day she was writing how many rounds she'd missed for a few months. And she got 1,000 rounds behind. And she asked me, you know, what to do. And I said, just turn it back to 0 and just carry on chanting 16 rounds. But otherwise, if possible, particularly if you're an initiated devotee, you should definitely try, make every effort to catch up for rounds when you get behind. Okay.
Thank you, Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Should we end with little kirtan? Or
Sure.
we normally end with Lord Nrsingadev's kirtan. It's okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Right.
Who's going to sing tonight?
Sri Nrsingadev Bhagavan. Maharaj, I'll sing today. I'll sing.
Go ahead.
Shri Nrsingadev Bhagavan ke, Shri Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ke, Shri Prabhupada ke.
Jai.
Namaste Narasringaya.
Narasringaya.
Radha Radha Jaine, Radha Radha Jaine, Hiranyakashi Purnakshaya, Hiranyakashi Purnakshaya, Tilakankanakaya, Tilakankanakaya, Ito पर तो नृसिंहो यतो नृसिंहो भाई नृसिंहो शरणं प्रपदे Sharanam Prapate Narasimha Madam Sharanam Prapate Prapate Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Buddha Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubenga Yashavadita Hari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Utashenga Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanabenga Yashavadita Hari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadita Narari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nishringare, 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 Jaya Nishringare, 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 Jaya Nishringare, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Bhakta Prahlad, Jaya Bhakta Prahlad, Prabhupada, 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 Nitya Gora Haribo, 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 Nishingre Bhagavan ki, Shibhakta Prabhupada ki, Prabhupada ki, Thank you very much, devotees. Maharaj, again, thank you very much for joining us today at Srila Prabhupada Premana Mahata. We really, really want to see you soon again at Namahata. So thank you very much. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki.
Haribol. Thank you all, and we'll see you later.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Haribol. Okay.